Introspection is a vague term for a range of complicated interactions with yourself. It's not a dive inward to discover your one true authentic core self. Rather, it's imagining stepping out to see yourself from another perspective. Call it self-sighting. It comes in many varieties depending on who sees and what's seen. Such self-sighting is a consequence of human language and our capacity to conceptualize, the same capacity that makes human empathy different from that of other living beings. You can self-empathize, one part of you putting itself in your other part's shoes. Self-sighting makes us self-aware, self-conscious, and self-flattering in ways other organisms aren't. When you notice that someone important can see you, you're inclined to put on your best behavior. You display your better side. That's why, ironically, you can't get narcissists to look at themselves. A narcissist's viewing self wants to see themselves in the most flattering light. The Greek myth holds that Narcissus was a hottie. He didn't impress himself with his intellect, but his hotness. Narcissus was self-sighting to self-impress. His viewing self wanted to see his hottest features. Imagine you're back in high school. There's a spark between you and your crush. When you see your crush, they flash their better side. And even if they didn't, that's the side you'd want to see. And vice versa. It's a mutual admiration society. A narcissist hides within a self-flattering hall of mirrors, a mutual admiration society of one. Narcissists won't look at themselves because they're gazing adoringly at an idealized self, every viewed facet perfection itself. It's a kind of self-sighting, but not the kind we want from narcissists. We want them to see who they really are, warts and all. Still, the preference for flattering self-sightings is not unique to narcissists. It's natural. You know the feeling well, though you may not know or admit that you know it. Which would you prefer on your living room or Facebook wall? A picture of you at your best or worst? Obviously at your best. That's the tendency that narcissists take to absurd extremes. If we're going to self-sight, we'll tend to flash and see our better sides, not our worst. What we see is what we flaunt, and what we flaunt is what we see. Is that introspection? I'd say yes. It's a kind of self-sighting that we all do, though one that's more useful for boosting confidence than improving behavior. That doesn't make it wrong. It makes it something that we all do to some extent, and that some people overindulge at other people's expense. A narcissist is someone who self-sights only flatteringly. Seeing themselves as they really are, warts and all, is like kryptonite to a narcissist, and their superpower is avoiding it. Still, it's confirmation bias, a tendency we all have, preferring reassuring news to disappointing news about who we are. Decent folks recognize that confirmation bias is a problem they have to manage. Narcissists treat confirmation bias as the solution to all of their problems. Self-sighting is an imagined interaction with all manner of viewers, family, friends, co-workers, acquaintances, strangers, or any combination of people with all sorts of perspectives. At core, it means imagining being someone else, which even sadists do when they want to hurt someone. They imagine being in someone else's shoes as a way to devise the best way to hurt them. When engaged in self-sighting, we often empathize with others. We put ourselves in someone else's shoes to imagine how they see us. With today's communication technology, we're exposed to more perspectives than ever. It can be overwhelming to imagine ourselves as seen through so many different eyes. Prejudice is one solution. Imagine meeting someone who has a threatening amount of status, money, or charm. Your mind is likely to seek some fault, a way to diminish the threat. Prejudice is that in bulk, dismissing whole swaths of humanity as beneath us. Being overwhelmed by other people's opinions has always been a challenge. 2,600 years ago, Aesop told the fable of the man, his son, and the donkey. the moral of which was that you can't please everyone. Trying to please anyone is a product of self-sighting, seeing ourselves from their perspectives. And it's not just them. We self-sight as if in a hall of mirrors, seeing an angle on ourselves from an angle on ourselves, our varied perspectives on our varied perspectives. When someone says, would you just look at yourself, who's looking at whom? You got so many facets of you reflected by so many facets of you. The hall of mirrors doesn't end with one perspective. You can see yourself seeing yourself ad infinitum. For every perspective you take, another could be taken on the perceiver. You can say, looking at myself, I can see I'm a nice guy. You can say, looking at myself, I can see that I like to think I'm a nice guy. Introspection mostly means an attempt to see ourselves from many angles, a larger sample size of perspectives on ourselves. There's strength in numbers, a resilience from seeing lots of our good and bad sides. It's like getting lots of fan and hate mail. You wince less at the bad news when you get lots of it commingled with good news about who you are. We can get used to our warts, we can ignore them, we can also get comfortable with having them, even recognizing that there will be more as we age and deteriorate. But we never lose our preference for pleasing self-sightings. Some people claim they only see their faults. It's possible and painful. Still, I don't assume they prefer it. Indeed, the more you see your faults, the more you might crave pleasing self-sightings. People often say that narcissists have just such a chip on their shoulder. They're so full of self-loathing that they can't stand to see themselves, warts and all. I don't assume that's the only path to narcissism. Some narcissists are traumatized by hard childhoods. Some are spoiled by easy childhoods. Decent folks manage their confirmation bias, recognizing that they need to keep an eye on their good and bad qualities. They take encouraging and discouraging self-sightings in good measure, keeping their confidence high enough to not feel overwhelmed by self-disappointment, but not so high that they can't see their flaws. It's like the caterpillar's instructions to Alice about the mushroom. Take a bite from one side to get taller, from the other side to get smaller. When you want to feel confident and appreciate what you are, make yourself feel bigger. When you want to aspire and inspire self-growth, make yourself feel smaller.